Hey guys, welcome to Guardiola United. Welcome to another video. And before starting the video, I'm gonna leave you with an audio of a person that you might know, Hughwizzy. He's a considerable important known image in YouTube for English football, and those of you that are here probably know him. If you don't, he's an Arsenal fan, but let me roll the clip and you'll see what I mean.
What's going on, people? My name is Hugh, massive Arsenal fan, and this is my unpopular opinion. My unpopular opinion is that Pep Guardiola is the most overrated manager in the history of world football. My reasoning behind that is that Pep chooses the club that he goes to very carefully, invests ridiculous amounts of money, and should be dominating football the way that he is. Don't think that he's changed the game at all. 300 million spent at Barca, another 200 million at a Bayern side that didn't need a penny put into it. 500 million, $500 million at Manchester City. And in 3 years, he spent more than Wenger did in 21 at Arsenal. He should be dominating the game. You and I would be dominating if we had that much financial backing. Let's not forget that obviously he was working with Lionel Messi when he did pick up his last Champions League trophy, which was nearly a decade ago. And for that reason alone, my unpopular opinion is that Pep Guardiola is the most overrated manager in world football.
And well, after listening to this, all I have to say is that this is the best way to lie. By saying things that are half true, like it sounds like it's true, like it makes sense when you think about it, but when you analyze it, it's actually it's a very good way of lying to people, of tricking people. Saying that Pep Guardiola is the most overrated manager in world football is basically giving him no credit for anything that he wins. And most of his argument is spent around the millions, right? Alright, if your argument is saying that he spends the most amount of money, well, I'm expecting that you think that he's the most overrated player in world football because he's spending what, 300 at Barcelona, he said 300 million at Barcelona, 300 million at Bayern, and 500 million at Manchester City. So therefore the other teams, I mean, for him to be very overrated, then the other teams can only spend 50 million in total, right? Is that what you're talking about, right? Oh wait, Manchester United, Jose Mourinho, didn't he break the transfer record for Paul Pogba for over 100 million euros? Didn't he sign Lukaku for over 70 million? Oh, he's playing with a bunch of kids, right? Jose Mourinho played with a bunch of kids. Oh wait, no. He has world-class players like Martial, Rashford, really good players like Matic, Herrera, David De Gea, Eric Bailly, Victor Lindelof. They're all good players. Alexis Sanchez, he's a good player. That he's not succeeding at Manchester United, it's not necessarily his fault. What about Chelsea? The team that has Hazard, Kante, they had Kepa, back in the day they had Courtois. Interesting, right? Well, what about his time at Real Madrid? He's saying that he basically won the Champions League because of Messi a decade ago. Alright, let's think about it. Oh yeah, he spent a lot of money that season that he won the treble, right? His first season as a professional manager in the first tier, top tier football, he spent a lot of money, right? I mean, I only remember Dani Alves and Gerard Piqué as the crucial signings for the first team. Maybe Alexander Kleb, but he didn't really play. He only cost about 18 million? Dani Alves was like the main inclusion, and then you had the likes of, I think, yeah, Piqué for like 5 million, and Dani Alves for about 30 million. That's about what, 35 million for your starting team? Alright. Oh, but you're saying that it's because of Messi, right? Well, there's something that a lot of people say, that he cannot win the Champions League without Messi, Xavi, and Iniesta. Well, let me tell you this. When was Messi, Xavi, and Iniesta as protagonists of the team? Meaning that they were doesn't matter if they were in the squad, but they were an active, very important, crucial part to win the Champions League before Pep Guardiola. Let me tell you, they were all the last time that Barcelona won the Champions League back in when Frank Rijkaard was the coach, but none of them were in crucial parts of the team. The crucial forwards of the team in the 4-3 were Ronaldinho, Samuel Eto'o, and Ludovic Juli. Iniesta wasn't a starting midfielder by any means, and Xavi was okay, sporadically being kind of a starter, but not really to the levels that we saw after Pep Guardiola. So, and let me also remember you, we had Messi, Xavi, and Iniesta in the 2006-2007 season and the 2007-2008 season, which was 2 and 1 seasons before Pep Guardiola arrived. And how many trophies did we win back then? Oh yes, a big fat 0, having beaten by Real Madrid by 2 seasons ridiculously. Which, by the way, was because of the idea of keeping Ronaldinho and Deco and the other heavyweights that should have been kicked out of the team. But that's another topic for another video. What do Real Madrid go ahead and do? The following summer, after Barcelona humiliate them with a treble, after they put fear into them, they go ahead and sign Cristiano Ronaldo for over 100 million euros, Kaká, Benzema, Xabi Alonso, Raúl Albiol, Álvaro Arbeloa, literally about 300 million euros in one summer, which were, if you were to translate it to today's transfer market, would be something like 500 to 600 million euros in one summer. Something pretty similar to what PSG did back in the day when they brought Mbappe and Neymar in the same transfer window. They did that literally the following season after we did that, after we won the treble, and Barcelona pretty much only brought in Zlatan Ibrahimovic, which was Eto'o plus 50 million. And let me remind you this, that although it wasn't the only signing, it was pretty much the most crucial signing for Barcelona. But let me remember you that Ibrahimovic doesn't specifically come because of his Ibrahimovic and we need him in the club. He specifically comes because it's one of the only ways to kick out Samuel Eto'o out of the squad. And Pep Guardiola, he said that he needed Eto'o out of the squad to have a team that was going to be together and that was going to have any toxic players in the dressing room. Unfortunately, Ibrahimovic happened to be in the squad and that didn't help at all. But still, that's the balance for you. In 2 summer transfer windows, Real Madrid spent more than half of what Barcelona spent in 2 summer transfer windows. And what happened? Barcelona won 3 league titles in a row. Forgetting about the Champions Leagues and the cups that they won along the way. They won 3 league titles in a row. Madrid did not win absolutely anything other than a Copa del Rey in 3 years. Which, by the way, it was a game that you should thank Udinese Mayenko because the Barcelona were kicked to bits in that Copa del Rey final by the Real Madrid players, which was literally like ultimate violence UFC moments back then. And the only time that Pep Guardiola didn't win the league title in his 4 years stint at Barcelona was with the best Real Madrid I've ever seen, which was the 11-12 season of Mourinho's Real Madrid. That was for me the best Real Madrid that I've ever seen, and it was still really close. So, to whomever wants to say that he either spent too much money at Barcelona or that he had Messi, Xavi, Iniesta, well, I told you he had Xavi, Messi, and Iniesta were back then. They were players back then, and he opted to also kick out Eto'o, Ronaldinho, Deco, Ibrahimovic, Yaya Touré, and instead bring in Pedro, bring in Villa, Alexis Sanchez, Busquets, all young players, hungry for titles. At Bayern Munich, alright, maybe that was the easiest job that he's had, I'm not gonna deny that. He should be winning the league, but the thing is that he won the double in every season that he was at Bayern Munich. Not only that, he secured the league title basically by December. It pretty much looked like the French league, because how comfortable he made it look like. So not only he secured a double every season, but he also guaranteed you a Champions League semi-final. Which for me, that's honestly, if I could steal that for every season, that would be great. Winning the double, the domestic double plus a Champions League semi-final, playing good football, being very competitive, that I would steal that every season. That would be amazing. Because how many times have Bayern Munich got into the semi-finals of the Champions League after Guardiola left? Only once, with Carlo Ancelotti being kicked out by Atletico Madrid. So, in the Premier League, let's go now into the Premier League. So, I'm assuming Klopp hasn't spent any money. He didn't sign Van Dijk, Alisson, Salah, Mane, Firmino, Wijnaldum, Naby Keita. What else he signed? Like, he signed a plethora of players. Oxlade-Chamberlain. You want me to keep going? So he hasn't spent any money, right? United haven't spent any money. Yeah. The difference is that he's an Arsenal fan, and because his club is poorly run, like other clubs, and trust me, it's not necessarily fault of the fans. Maybe it could be, but it's not necessarily fault of the fans that Arsenal is poorly run. But the thing is that compare Manchester City's results and Arsenal's results, and you'll see where the difference is. The difference is that Manchester City are in terms of football and like how good they consistently are, and how deep their squad is, they're the best team in world football. They are the best team in world football. And the thing is that Manchester City has always spent a lot of money, but they've never been this dominant in the Premier League. So much that the only team, I think since Manchester United, God knows when, was the last time that the Premier League was won back to back by the same team. Guardiola managed to do that, and not only he managed to do that by doing 198 points in 2 seasons. 97 points from Liverpool were not good enough to beat Manchester City. Guardiola's Manchester City. Which I'm telling you, have the others spent a lot more money than Guardiola? No, he spent more money out of all of them. But he's also been way better than every other team. But in Liverpool. But Liverpool, the reality is that they competed well. They spent pretty much the same money as Guardiola. But Manchester City are just a level above. So whoever wants to say that he's overrated because of money, because he has amazing players, well, every great team in world football has great players. You don't win by players alone. Like I've said, if you won by players alone, Neymar would have a World Cup, Messi would have a World Cup, Cristiano Ronaldo would have a World Cup. The orange team from Johan Cruyff, the Dutch team from Johan Cruyff would have won a World Cup. Hell, they even would have won a Euros, or at least should have won a Euros, by how good that team was. Reality is that 1 or 2 players don't get you to be successful. One player, them alone, cannot be your success, cannot be your way to success. If you happen to lock in to success, which was pretty much the 4 Champions League out of 5 for Real Madrid, and I'm sorry Real Madrid fans, but I have to say what I think, and I think that you were extremely lucky to get that many Champions League titles in those many years. So with all this said and done, leave me your opinions in the comment section below. What do you think about what I've said? Do you think that Guardiola is overrated, or do you think that he's one of the best managers that the world has ever seen? Leave me all your opinions in the comment section below. Comment, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one, Blaugranas.